Welcome to this tutorial on Dark and Darker. I'm going to show you whether you're a new player or you're a player who hasn't played in a long time, exactly what you need to do to get up and running as quickly as possible. Once we create our character, which I just made one here, Timmy1142124, we're going to go ahead and click on Enter the Lobby. If you're somebody who's playing for free, you're only going to be able to make one character. I'd recommend choosing a fighter, maybe a ranger. These two are pretty easy to get started with, or whatever else tickles your fancy. I would just go for whatever seems fun for you. But for now, let's take a look and see what this is going to be like. So once we enter the lobby, there's lots of different options, stuff that we can click on. But the first thing is when we look at merchants, they all actually have different quests for us. And instead of going through and just accepting them one at a time, which is really tedious, we can click quest log down here in the bottom right of the main screen. Click on accept all, and we've got every single quest now ready to go. It's also a good way to look through the quests and see what we have to do. So make sure you take a look at this in between your raids, fill the items in from here, and deliver those items really quick and easy. Second thing we need to do is take a look at merchants. From here we can see Squire, and the Squire actually has base gear that we can select. So we can change this to our liking, and this is what's going to be ready for us every time we die. We're going to come back with all this good stuff. So for me, I'm going to add a blue pot. I'm going to put my red pot and my bandage right there on the right hand side. We can also grab a campfire kit and put it over here on the left. So we can really grab what we want. We can grab this shirt if we want, these boots. All this stuff is free, so make sure we grab that if we want to bring stuff into the dungeon like this. So let's go ahead and set the base gear and click equip. This is your stash tab. All of this stuff in here is what you keep in between raids. And if you're a premium player who's bought the game, you'll also have a shared tab here for in between your different characters. But don't worry about that for now. You can also buy more stash space for gold, and I believe quests also unlock extra stashes later on as well. But it can be quite expensive. So now that we have our character all set up and we've accepted all of our quests and we don't have any money to buy anything from these merchants yet, what we'd be wanting to do is actually get in the game. Before we do that, we could go in the player list and find our friends by going to our friends list and adding them to our party. We can also go to the gathering hall to look for people who are looking to play with a new player. You can message people in here, maybe party up. You can customize and choose different stuff if you have anything in here. Then you can also shop to get some different cosmetic, looks as well. So there's lots of different stuff in here. We won't be using the trade hall quite yet. This is unlocked at level 15, I believe. Yep, level 20, actually. Sorry, I misspoke. But we are going to want to jump into class. In class, we can choose different stuff for our perks and skills. And for a fighter, our abilities, our sprint and our second wind are really good. I would leave those the way they are, but you can choose different abilities for your Q and your E abilities. And these passive perks are really important as well. For fighter, there's a lot of different options. Defense Mastery will give you a 10% armor rating bonus from equipped armor. I think this is a totally fine thing to start with, so we'll just leave that on for now. Now, back on this screen, this is where we choose which map we want to be on. We can also select our server, make sure this is where you live. We have 3 different maps. They all have a normal and a high roller mode to them. The amount of players on that map rotates every about 3 minutes, I believe. So right now, for solo players, we're going to be going to Forgotten Castle. So we'll click select. If we want, we can actually go to these other ones, but we would be against 2 players or 3 players, which would be pretty rough as a solo, so probably don't do that. When we click start, we're going to hop right into the game. But right before we do, he says, the Squire, pardon me, Lord, did you check your loadout? You'll be placed into a dungeon based on the gear scores of your party members. If a member of your team has a gear score higher of 25 or higher, you'll enter a more dangerous dungeon. Are you ready to go into the dungeons? So that is right here when you look at stash. Our gear score is 5. So we're below 25, and we're going to be only going in with other people who are less than 25, and the dungeon itself is a lot easier. So this is a good way to kind of build up some basic gear, is by going in at a low gear score. We click start, we click yes, and we're going in. Quick note, when you're in that little lobby before the game, make sure you don't use any abilities and you don't use any of your ammunition or anything. You don't get that back. If you put down any items there as well, you're also going to lose those, so do not lose stuff in the pregame lobby. Okay, now the game has started. Press 1 to take out your weapons. If you press 2, it would take out anything on this second slot. F to open up doors and interact with all different items in the game. Press 3 to take out your torch. If it's on your 3 slot, everything that's on your 4 slot is cycled between hitting the number 4. So you cycle stuff with 3, you cycle stuff with 4. If you want, you can press right click and let go to throw your torch. If you hold the left mouse button, it will go through any combos that your weapon has. This weapon has a 3-strike combo of swing, swing, and then stab. Press X to put your weapons away. This will let you move faster. I'm going to run around the room and aggro all of these mummies. Enemies will stay aggroed on the last person who did enough, like a threshold of damage to them. So they're just going to continue walking towards me until I kill them or get away from them. I'm going to group all these guys up, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to do fighting in this game. The best thing to keep in mind is you can kind of bait enemies to attack you and then walk away. See how they're all kind of attacking in the wrong spot because we walked away? So we bait and attack. You definitely want to aim for the heads. I got hit there. That's good though. Now I can show you how healing works. You'll notice it gets pretty dark in some areas, right? Okay, so all the mummies are now dead. We can go ahead and loot them by pressing F on their corpses. Right-click on items to grab them, put them in your inventory. They will automatically get equipped if you have an empty slot for them. Okay, now all the mummies are dead. We can just loot them up. Now, we have a little bit of health missing. Part of it's dark red and part of it is grayed out. The grayed out section you will not get back from using things like bandages, which only recover temporary health, but the potions will actually recover all health. The potions are healing over time, so we'll drink this and we're going to start healing over time. Whereas our bandages take a while to use, but they give us a chunk of health when they're done from our recoverable health. So let's see that happen now. Perfect. There's also other ways to heal other than those two things. One of these healing shrines is the great example. If we find the Shrine of Health, we can press F on it and wait, and it will actually do a full heal when it's finished. In this case, really not important because we only had a little tiny chunk missing, but in other situations, it would be very good to know that that is how those work. So once you've cleared a room of all the enemies in it, it's a good time to go ahead and start looting things up. I would avoid grabbing gray stuff as it just doesn't sell for that much. These pots actually usually spawn a lot of this sort of trinkets. Looks like it also spawned a bandage. Alright, so we got a heavy gambeson. We can put that on. We also have a green frock. When you look at the frock, it's actually redded out. Why is that? Because if you mouse over it, it'll tell you that the required class is a wizard, cleric, warlock, or druid, which we are not, so we can't wear it. But we do have a Barbuda helm here that we can put on. I mean, you can see our character on this side, what they look like. Also on this side, you can see all of your different attributes, and you can see a detailed list of them here, although usually in the dungeon you won't be doing this. But if we take something like this off, we can see our dexterity changed from 17 to 19. And then if we were curious, we could also look and see what dexterity is by mousing over it. But the primary goal of this game is to kill the enemies in the dungeon, get as much loot as possible, and then leave successfully so you can bring the loot back to your stash. You can sell things and get better stuff and go to cooler dungeons. And even progress your character, leveling up. You may have noticed that that big chest right there looks pretty fancy, but that it is locked. If I had lockpicks, I could try to unlock that chest. I don't know why that's taking forever to open. It's really weird. There we go. Or, the other thing is if you are a rogue, there's an ability to pick those locks as well. But unfortunately, I am not a rogue right now, so I won't be able to get in. Let's go ahead and move on. on the mini map on the bottom right, we can kind of get an idea of where we are. It looks like we're at the bottom of the map right now. And we'll also see on this mini map our static exits, which I guess they all are now. There used to be random exits, so that's something that will kind of throw you off, as well as the fact that there used to be a circle that would close in, much like a battle royale. But now there is not a battle royale circle. There is a timer, and the entire map is in play for the entire game. There's another player over there. We might get in a fight here. Alright, let's see if he wants to fight us. He's in here. I know he is. Oh, he's fighting over here. There he is. So we used our sprint ability to try to get towards him. I don't know where he actually went there. He dropped down. Well, that's annoying. This is not a fun room to be in, holy crap. He's probably gonna guard that door now. Oh no. So these are the kind of conundrums you can get into in this game. That's not good. With just all these normal skeletons, it wouldn't be a big deal, but there's a boss skeleton in here as well. The move. That was not the move. I'm dead. Oh my god, I'm not dead. I'm gonna be though. Maybe if I bring them all to this side of the room. Then maybe I just manage to sneak out just barely. Or I get shot right now. Okay. Alright, can I survive? Just need this to be finished putting down. So the campfire kit heals you over time, but you have to sit down to use it. I've used my second wind ability, but I'm going to get it back by using the campfire kit, which is really helpful in the situation. So I can get up and use it right away. Let's do that. And then I got to try to get to this exit. There's an exit on the map here. Any blue thing on the mini-map is an exit. I'm going to try and hope that it's available here. Gotta find the thing. Might be up there. I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm just gonna keep moving. Gotta look out for those floor traps. Looks like there's an exit up here. There's some spiders in here. It's not good. Close that door. So this is a rough spot to be in. Okay. Alright, I survived. Holy crap. Okay, so I've got 1 minute and 55 seconds to get out of the dungeon with about no health left. And let's just see what I can just scrounge off of these dudes real quick. I should mention while I'm here that the altar in the corner here is how you get your friends back up. So if you have one of your friends die, you can grab their soul. You'd have to move their chest piece off of their body, and a soul will appear right here. You have to move that soul onto... Oh, that's annoying. You have to move that soul into your carryable slot, like a 4 or a 3. Go to it, and then use it on the shrine. Interacting with anything in the game gives you XP, so make sure you interact with lots of stuff, like opening all these different shrines. Don't know if that's still true to this moment, like opening the shrines gives you XP, but I believe it does. So do that. Open as many boxes as possible, like this coffin. And watch out as you start taking damage at the end of the game, like right now. I can see that I'm taking some damage over time. So you're going to want to leave. Once you open the portal, you just jump in. There's other exits as well. You're going to find things like doors and ropes and boats and all sorts of cool stuff to leave the dungeon. There's also red exits, and red exits don't take you out of the dungeon. Instead, they take you down. So the level 1 Timmy went up to level 5 in that one dungeon raid, and so we can actually go back into class, perk and skill, and a next perk is now opened up that we can bring over from over here. Let's just say I want this one. Doesn't really matter. You can choose whichever one you want. You just drag it in, drop it here, and at level 10 we'll get this one, level 15 we'll get this one, and then level 20 we can of course open up the trade post, and as well we can start going into the high roller dungeons if we have the full game unlocked. So once you get back to the lobby, you have a couple of decisions to make. You're going to have to sell some stuff. So you're going to go in here. The two people I would recommend selling to is the collector and the weaponsmith. First off, we'll start at the collector. Any trinkets that we want to sell would be here. Before we even do this, let's back up. Let's go to quest log. We're just going to click through every single one. Remember, if these are in a usable slot, we won't be able to use them. So let's make sure if this was looted, it should come down here. See, it was looted, so this could be used for this quest, but it was in my usable slots up here. So we got to come here, quest log, fill all items, done, right? Come through here, check for anything. Have any campfire kits, did we? No, no campfire kits. Okay, all good. Let's go back here. Move through. Was there anything else? Do we have any daggers? Nope. Just seeing if there's anything we need to hand in. Obviously, we didn't get any of this stuff. That would be from mining. You use a pickaxe in-game to mine items. Mine ore, I should say. And it looks like we did it. And look, we have this one done. Explore the barracks location. Let's get that. And get the next quest. Looks like we got one of these. Make sure you click deliver items. That will make sure that they hold on to it. And we don't have to hold it in our inventory. There we go. So we've handed in all of our pressing items for those quests. So now we can hop back into merchants. Go to collector and choose all of our trinkets. That's basically anything that's not gear. All of this is gear. These are all pendants that you can wear. This crown is a trinket. Now, some items you might need for quests later on down the road. I wouldn't worry about it too much right now while you're still learning. Just hand all the trinkets in, get a bunch of money. Then we'll go over to Weaponsmith, but it could be just about anybody who buys and sells gear, and sell him your gear. You can sell him the pendants as well. And then you have a couple of options here. We could run it back wearing these items, these green items, but it looks like our gear score is now over 100, and it's going to put us into the harder dungeons. If you're still learning the game, I would highly recommend to take off any of your green gear right now while you're here. So just look around, look for any green gear, or higher, of course. If we found something that was blue or higher, make sure you take that off as well. Anything but white and gray gear, we're going to take it off and sell it. We can leave that oil torch there and use it for the next one, all good, but everything else now is taken off. We're still at 41, that's because of these here. If we shift right click, things are going to go into our stash. So you can do that this way. But we can also, if we want to put all of our money away in one swoop, we can go to Squire and we can click on Stash Above Items. Boom. All that stuff goes back in here. You'll notice we're missing a few things, so let's go back to Base Gear, click on Equip Base, and boom. We are ready to go for another basic dungeon because we're under 25 and we have all the gear that we need to get started. So we can click play and we can go again. That's most of it, guys. From there, we can kind of start leveling up our character, picking up new skills, getting more and more money, maybe even exploring some higher dungeons like these high roller dungeons, which I won't explain here. I hope you found this video helpful to get you started. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments. I'd love to talk with you there. Have a great day. Bye-bye.